Before we jump into the episode today, I want to share something with you from my heart. First of all, thank you so much for listening to the podcast. I really can't tell you how much your support means to me. We've been doing the podcast now for almost 4 years. I can't even believe it. And I'm so grateful for each and every single one of you that listens, shares an episode with your friends, sends me a DM or a text message letting me know how an episode resonated with you or any aha moments. Seriously, I couldn't be more grateful to be able to create this podcast. It has been such a blessing in my life, and I love hearing the ways it's been able to provide value in yours as well. One thing you might not know is how much work it takes to be consistent with a podcast. In fact, did you know that the majority of podcasts don't make it past episode number 10? And we are well beyond that. And it's just a lot thinking of the episodes, recording them, editing them, managing the guests, making sure that everything runs smoothly and gets uploaded consistently and regularly. And so that's why I have created an amazing opportunity for you to support the podcast monetarily. And in exchange for that, you will get exclusive premium subscriber content. So for as little as $3 a month, you can become a premium subscriber of the podcast. And every month I will upload new voice-guided workouts and breathwork meditation audio for you. So that way you can work out with me, coaching you in your ears. You can also take a moment to reduce your stress and relax and come down and ground down with one of my breathwork audios. So if that is on your heart to support the podcast for as little as $3 a month to become a premium podcast subscriber, I can't tell you how much that means to me and the growth of this podcast. I appreciate you. If you're interested, click the link in the description, become a premium podcast subscriber, new content every month, and while supplies last, I'll send you an exclusive podcast coffee mug so you can have your self-love and sweat coffee every morning. I appreciate you. Now let's get into the show. Welcome to Self-Love and Sweat, the podcast, the place where you'll get inspired to live your life unapologetically, embrace your perfect imperfections, break down barriers, and do what sets your soul on fire. I'm your host, Lunden Souza. Hey friend, it's me, Lunden Souza, online lifestyle transformation coach. I help people all over the world just like you who know they are meant for more, get their mind right and their body tight, and go from crazy busy to crazy happy. And hey, if it's our first time meeting, welcome. So happy to have you. And if you've been with us for a while, it's so great that you're here too. I'm really excited to share this episode of the Self-Love and Sweat podcast with you. Hey, I want to tell you quickly about 2 ways that you can get connected beyond the podcast to up-level your health, your life, your fitness, reach your goals, but also support the podcast as well. So the first option is our Self-Love and Sweat monthly members-only meetup. We meet up on the last Saturday of the month on Zoom for 90 minutes to cover some important topics, to answer your questions, and then to also do a workout together. It's a great way to have that support, have that accountability, get supercharged, and get reminded that there are other people all over the world on this journey of self-love and sweat, and you don't have to do it alone. You can join your first month for only $1 using code SELFLOVE1 at checkout, and then it's $27 a month after that. So you go to lifelikeLondon.com/monthly, use the code SELFLOVE1 at checkout to try us out, test it out for only $1 for your first month, and then you can be on board to listen to the podcast, join up on the meetups, and just really feel like you're connected and thriving on this journey to reach your goals. The second option is our Strong at Home for Women 8-week dumbbell-only workout plan. We have women all over the world getting stronger from the inside out right at home, right? So we're ready to take action to get stronger despite the circumstances of the world. And we know that we're not about to do that alone. So embark on this 8-week journey with us. You can go to lifelikeLondon.com/strong at home. You can pick up your 8-week plan. And the exciting thing is that every 8 weeks, we open it up, myself and my co-coach, for VIP all access coaching with us. So not only do you get the plan, but you get Zoom fireside chats with us. You get an exclusive way to chat with us anytime so you can ask your questions, share your progress. And we're always continuing to stay connected and motivate and inspire each other on our journey to get stronger, no matter what that means for us. So if you know that you're meant for more, you're ready to get stronger from the inside out, and you're just like, yes, I need a plan and some structure, something to tell me what to do. I know I'm ready, but I need that coaching. I can't do it alone. We are here for you. You can go to lifelikeLondon.com/strong at home, pick up the plan, figure out when our next VIP all access registration is opening so you can get that support and guidance. And the third thing, I said there was two, but the third thing is you can do both. You can join us for those monthly meetups. You can be there for the 8-week program. You know, this coaching and this support is here for you. We want to get you real results that last so you never have to start over again. And so you guys are awesome. Enjoy this episode. Get connected. Self-love and sweat, friends. Today's guest on Self-Love and Sweat, the podcast, is Christina Flach. She's a celebrity makeup artist and creator and CEO of Pretty Girl Makeup, a mother of 5, and was married to Ken Flach, a professional tennis player. And in 2018, he died after a brief bout of sepsis. And since then, Christina has been dedicated to raising public awareness of the danger of sepsis, the symptoms to watch out for, and the importance of receiving swift medical attention while helping others learn to grieve in a positive way. Welcome to the podcast, Christina. How you doing today?
Hi, how are you? Nice to meet you.
Yeah, it's so great to have you. And when you guys first reached out to me about your story and your mission and how you're living your life now, I just thought it was so perfect for self-love and sweat and the theme that we have here on the podcast. So how about you just, kick us off and give a little bit of background on kind of where you've been and what your focus is now.
Well, as you said, I am a celebrity makeup artist and the creator and CEO of Pretty Girl Makeup. I started doing makeup with friends and family for my mother when she was diagnosed with cancer when I was a young girl. I put on her makeup when she was going on a date with my dad, and I just remember how great it made me feel to make her feel good because she looked like her normal self, or how she used to look before she got ill. And I just kept that. It always kind of just resonated with me and segued into my work. And I did photo shoots with different photographers, and then I got an agent. I got first signed with Ford in New York. And then it just kind of segued. I was very blessed to get these amazing agents that booked me extraordinary clients: Gucci, Louis Vuitton, Hilary Swank, Condoleezza Rice, Journey, Metallica. I have been really lucky to work with extraordinary people. And then I created my line because as a mother of 5, I was constantly drinking water and putting on lip gloss. It was like a constant battle of the lip gloss, the water. And I thought, well, I'm going to create a lip gloss that doesn't fall off in 5 seconds. So I worked with a chemist, a beauty chemist, and we came up with the formulation and the colors. And surprisingly, I thought it was going to be like a month and we'd be in stores all over the place. And it took over a year to formulate. And then it takes time to get things going. And then after my son passed away, I just really didn't care anymore. And I kind of just let my company float for a bit. But then I got it back together and started again. And so now I have a new business partner. We've got funding coming from new investors this coming year. We're super excited. And I'm still doing photo shoots because I do love it.
Oh, I love that. And I love how you shared, how this kind of started. It's like, oh, I had a problem. And so I decided instead of complaining and blaming, to create that solution. And then kind of that quick picture that you painted for us of, yeah, you kind of start in one place, you have an issue or a problem, you find that solution, you create it. And, you said a lot in that short amount of time, but, you're doing all this stuff, celebrity makeup artist, photo shoots all over the place with big names. And then family struggles hit. And you said that, I know I mentioned in the intro that your husband had passed away, but I also know that you lost a son and you took a break and then kind of getting back to things. And I think sometimes we just see the person now and what they're doing, if they're successful, kind of where they've been, all their little highlights, but we all have those moments that, just completely turn our world upside down. And so what was that like for you of dealing with this trauma and grief of losing a child while running a business and while trying to kind of grow and expand?
It's so interesting. You really don't know how you're going to react to things in different situations. And I think losing my son, it affected my whole entire family. My marriage ended, and my children, it affected greatly. And Bo, my son that passed, has a twin, Ben. And what's been so great, I had been involved with the Northern Lights School in Oakland, California, and helped them do, my kids, I took every year as they were growing up to the Fairmont in San Francisco, and we would do a teddy bear tea. And it was just such a special thing that my kids loved. And I remember touring the school and I asked them, like, what do they do to celebrate Christmas? And they didn't really have anything that grand. And so I got a bunch of girlfriends together. I found donations. I bought things. I bought these teddy bears. We bought gingerbreads. We decorated the gingerbreads. We made hot chocolate and tea, and we decorated these teddy bears, which is so interesting. This was, my gosh, 16 years ago. I still get notes from kids and people tell me that those teddy bears went on with them to high school and college, that they meant so much to them. So it's so wonderful. Things happen in life, challenges occur, and it's definitely up to how we choose to handle them. And I went to grief camp after my husband passed because my girlfriend invited me, and she lied. She said we were going to a spa, but we were going to grief camp.
Oh, good
but
one.
It was so painful to just really deal with it. Grief is one of those things that you just don't know how you're going to react, what you're going to do, and you kind of need a plan. And I remember, I knew after my son had passed, I kind of went off the deep end for a little bit. I was taking sleeping pills during the day to just numb myself. And that lasted about a month. And my friends said, okay, enough, like, get it together. You've got a husband and children and a company and a life, and you can't destroy it after this happened. And because as a mother, it affects your children, your actions affect your children so greatly. And so I knew after Ken passed, I really couldn't go down any dark hole like I did before. So I just made everything seemed so much worse if I got too tired, too hungry, too thirsty, or I didn't exercise. So I'm super disciplined anyway, but I took it up about 25 notches. I worked out twice a day. It wasn't like hard workouts. I would go to yoga or Pilates, or I would hike, or I'd ride my horse or go for a walk. And that helped just calm my head. And I made sure not to get too hungry or too thirsty. And if I got tired, I really tried to take a rest. And so that all helped. Grieving is one of those things that comes in waves. It's intense and it softens and it just keeps coming and going. And it's not one of those things that you get over losing my son or my husband. You just learn to manage, and you learn to know what triggers you have and try to not get them or just accept them. Like, this is a moment I'm having, and it will stop and we'll keep going on. And I really try to be grateful. I mean, I could very well be furious and foul and pissed off about my husband dying and my son, but I really try to just be grateful for the time I had with them.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah.
And I think helping others has been helpful for me to, to deal with this. It makes me, I don't want my baby forgotten. I don't want my husband forgotten. And I think that helping others is really, for me, a nice way to honor both of them.
Yeah, giving back and having their memory and who they are and that spirit kind of live through you there. In your bio, I had mentioned, and you had shared with me that you or that you help people grieve in a positive way. So what does grieving in a positive way look like?
Well, I was on a hike one day, walking in the hills, listening to my music, and I can hear my husband talking to me sometimes. And that might sound crazy to some people, but we have conversations. And I remember my husband, I could hear him saying to me how painful it was for him to look down on me, depressed and crying and so sad. And then I thought about that, how hard that would be for me to watch him or my kids or my friends so unhappy. And so I thought, it's not that I don't have moments all the time that I'm sad, but I really try to do it. I guess helping others makes me feel good. And I think being grateful for the time that we have, and just know that people come into our lives forever sometimes, or for a few months or years. And we just have to be grateful for that time. There's nothing more we can honestly do, I don't think.
Yeah, gratitude is major. That's something I talk about a lot on the podcast when it comes to shifting of perspective. And I just feel like an attitude of gratitude in a lot of situations, many situations, can turn that situation around. Absolutely. And I love that you were able to and are continuing to transmute and transform that pain into purpose and into helping others. And grieving, like you said, is a major process, and we all go through it differently. And so I just love the way that you're doing that in this world, in this world now.
It's amazing. My son, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, go for it. Mm-hmm.
I was going to say, my son, Ben, Bo's twin, all my children have helped with the Northern Lights School, donating their time and efforts to raise money and to help out reading books or different things. But there's a golf tournament every year that Vita Blue puts on for all these athletes and business people around the San Francisco Bay Area. And my husband played in the golf tournament, and both my sons have played. But my son, Ben, Bo's twin, for the past 5 years has been on a hole, and they do this thing called Challenge the Kid. And so they pay him to hit the ball, and they can use his ball because he's a ranked junior golfer in California. He's really great. In fact, we're going down to Pebble Beach this afternoon for a tournament for 2 days. But Ben has raised over $100,000 in the past 5 years for his brother and his dad's foundations, which makes me so proud. But the incredible part is that I said to Ben, wow, he just raised $36,000 in October at the golf tournament, which means that 3 children will be able to go to private school for a year, which is extraordinary because that changes lives and communities, and trickling down changes the world, hopefully. So I feel really good about that. And I think when your kids learn to do charity work from a young age, it's going to be with them forever. As well as we started a garden at the Edna McGuire School in Mill Valley, where my children went to school. There was this old garden that was kind of forgotten, but there were all these different fruit trees, and we raised a bunch of money, and they have vegetable beds. And so all the kids from the kindergarten through, through 5th grade plant seeds. They grow vegetables, tomatoes, lettuce, all different vegetables, carrots, and then they cook with them or do science experiments in the outdoor classroom. And I feel that if kids from a young age learn that growing vegetables and that it tastes good, these vegetables coming out of the earth, much more than having a bag of chips, I think that will affect them throughout their life.
Yeah, on so many levels, on so many levels. And thank you
Gosh, right?
for sharing that because, yeah, it's not just you who is turning some of this pain into purpose and to, give back, but your whole entire family. And of course, it wasn't just you that was impacted by the loss of your son and your husband. And I know you have 4 other kids. And I've seen too, a lot of trauma happen in lives of people that I love. And it's not always a given that turns into a bigger purpose and that it brings families closer together for a common thread or good or purpose. Sometimes it can really tear things apart. And, everyone's grieving process, like you said, is very different. And, some people might recluse a bit more. And it just can be a very unique situation and dynamic. So what would you say? I'm sure you leaned into, like you said, you have great people in your corner, friends and things like that too. But, I know that there are parents listening that are single parents or who maybe have lost a child or their spouse or partner. What would you say are some, tools or, nuggets of value that you feel like, was, instrumental in helping you keep that family unit strong and keep it purpose driven and purpose focused, despite it being, insanely sad,
It's so interesting. I think there's a statistic that says that marriages, like 95% of the time after a child dies, break up, which is really sad. But unfortunately mine did, but my ex-husband and I are very close still. And he grieves very differently than I do. And it used to anger me that he just doesn't want to talk about it, deal with it, or do anything. And I'm very different. I want Bo to be remembered and honored, and I want him to raise the educational funds and the garden. That is how I choose to deal with it. So what I've learned is it's really unfair of me to expect him to grieve the way I do. He's totally entitled to grieving the way he wants. There's no right or wrong with dealing with grief. It's how you feel most comfortable. And I think after I got to that place of not being so angry at him about I understood more that it was so painful for him to grieve, like to even think about Bo anymore. And so I really, it softened me and just made me a lot gentler and kinder to him when I came to that realization. Because it's not fair to expect him to grieve the way I am. It's not. But he does love that we honor Bo in the garden and in the foundation. He loves it. And he's very proud of us, of the children and I, for doing this. It's just, he's just a lot more private and keeps it a little bit more inside.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that.
There's a great book that I read when I went to the grief camp. The woman that was putting it on was Rabbi Sherry Hirsch from Los Angeles. And she had written a book called We Plan and God Laughs. And it was really interesting. She said, no one's grief is worse than anyone else's. Everyone's grief is equal. And it just, and in the book, you don't even need to be a widow or a mother of anyone would benefit from reading this book, because it shows you that there is always going to be waves in life. There is going to be bumps and challenges, and it's how we choose to deal with it. Happiness is a choice. I do not choose to be miserable and angry. It's foreign to me to feel that way. Not that I don't get sad and not that I don't get depressed, but I have tools of thinking of a few things I'm grateful for. As we spoke about earlier, taking a rest, exercise, all these little things help when you're dealing with grief.
Mm-hmm. How has exercise for you? I mean, the title of this podcast is Self-Love and Sweat. And I I have a fitness background and a huge advocate of moving our body beyond just what we look like, and moving our body because we can, and also because of all the other, benefits emotionally, spiritually that we can have through a workout. So what role has working out and staying physically active played in your life, let's say before, during, and now? And how does that feel for you?
I think working out, it's something it's like brushing my teeth. I do some form of exercise every day. I go to hot power yoga, which I'm going to go to after our chat, or I go to Pilates. I have a horse I ride. I hike. I try to do something different all the time. I lift weights. And I think it really just helps if I'm in a bad mood or feeling sad. If I go work out, at the end of the workout, I'll listen to music. I'm instantly in a better headspace. And I just think it's super important. If we sit around and our bodies get sore and achy, it's a downward spiral. I'm all about, and segueing a little bit into the beauty part of my life. I tell my clients all the time, and I do this, I feel that beauty comes from the inside out. And I'm not talking about being sweet and kind. That's obvious. But drinking green juice, having a lot of water, not smoking, not drugs, not a lot of alcohol. All these things are going to help you feel and look your best self. And I'm a big proponent of supplements and collagen peptides and eating well. I just feel that it makes everything in life better. So if you incorporate that with the working out, the gratitude, it all comes together, and you have some balance, and you feel like you can handle life's challenges, because there are inevitably going to be a lot.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's so important. And like you said, not just the workouts, but the nutrition and what you're putting into your body is going to be the output. Yeah. And what you look like, but also what you feel like. And that kind of stagnance you described, that downward spiral, I find that working out helps so much. And there's many times where I go into my workouts and I'm doing a hard exercise, but it's more than the exercise. I'm imagining myself having that, maybe that tough conversation, or helping a client with a breakthrough, or just pushing through something emotionally, or, getting past something that I want to move past, and really using working out as a tool for that, and understanding that, it's there, there are days when you might not feel like it or feel up to it, or, to your story, like some days you might just be feeling paralyzed with sadness. But if we can just get up and move our bodies and allow that energy just to kind of move, it always makes a difference. And I think, it's one thing to say like, oh yeah, wake up and work out. It's another thing to hear stories of people who it's like you said, you just really leaned into your habits and routines. You started moving your body regularly because that was something that made you feel good. And just kind of, even if it was just a little bit better. And then nutrition is huge too. I mean, even outside of losing someone we love, and feeling emotional, like our nutrition is major when it comes to dealing with our emotions and just providing our body the fuel that it needs to function optimally. And so let's transition a bit into the beauty space that you're in now and what that kind of means for you. And it's funny that we are on this topic and that you're my guest today, because I was visiting my family for the holidays over Christmas, and I left all my makeup at my parents' house in my middle drawer. And I remember I was like, about an hour ago getting everything set up. And I'm not a huge makeup person. I don't wear a ton regularly, but like when I do stuff like this, of course, I want like a little powder to get rid of the shine. And I was like, how funny and odd that it is that I'm interviewing a celebrity makeup expert today with just moisturizer on my face. I was using my roller to, kind of do things here. But I was like, okay, even if I wanted,
the roller's the best.
Yes.
In the refrigerator every morning. That is literally probably the first thing I do before I drink my water, is get that thing out and get the puff out. Well, try to anyway. I think they're amazing. It's so good. I did an interview not too long ago with this woman in London, and she is the face yoga expert, and she's amazing. And so she's on Instagram. It's face yoga expert. Everyone should check her out. But she does all these different things to help your face and skin. So I think those rollers are extraordinary.
I love that. If I would have had some moments for some face yoga today, I would have done it. But it was just funny because I was like, okay, 30 minutes, even if I wanted to go buy new makeup now, not happening. Funny that I'm interviewing this person. I took it out of I actually keep mine in the freezer. So I was like rubbing it on my face. It was just a funny,
you have no makeup at all. And like nothing, not even your like spare makeup
I had nothing. I have my stuff in my 2 bags. I have like the little brush bag and my little makeup bag. And yeah, I left it in my parents' house in the drawer. Luckily, my dad's coming to visit for New Year's, so he'll bring it with him. It was just funny and just an interesting thing to think about when I was going to jump on with someone like you, who's always just probably, looking so great with your makeup, has all the tips and tricks.
I don't always look like this. I don't.
Yeah, no, you look great.
Today, I did all kinds of magic tricks.
But one thing that I love about what you're doing, because you talked about lip gloss and lip gloss that stays. And honestly, I can't wait to try some of your products for sure, because that's something that I had that with me. I had my lip gloss. I have one that I use regularly that's kind of like a lip stain and it doesn't come off. But it was like the same thing that you mentioned where you're like, you take a drink of water or whatever, and it's like moving and it's coming off. And I talk a lot. I'm doing podcasts and I always hate when there was like this white line, like inside my lip here from where the lip gloss once was and where my spit, got it off a little bit. So, talk to us a little bit about your makeup and what you're putting out there and, what's in it and what type of product. Cause that's a major one too, is there's a lot of products on the market, but like, there's a lot of, crazy ingredients in them that are not good for our bodies that, our skin eats too. So whatever we're putting on our skin is super important. So, what is, kind of your mission with your makeup products and what are you doing there?
Well, I wanted all my products to have oils and natural that were anti-aging, but also moisturizing. I feel that skin can't get enough moisture. So I love my lip gloss has olive oil and different vitamin E that's anti-aging, but it's also long lasting. So a little makeup trick with your lip gloss that's matte, I think, a matte color. Yeah. Put on some lip balm first.
Okay.
And then put it on. And it'll be like softer, but it'll stay longer. And you won't be seeing that. You can also use a lip liner around it and fill in your lips. So little makeup trick. Little tips in between this. My partner Jordan Hall and I are really excited about 2022 because we are partnering with 2 different groups and we are coming up with a new skincare line that's going to have CBD in it. And the CBD is incredible for so many things: anti-aging, inflammation. It's not about getting high off of it, but we're using these these nanoparticles that they use it, so it's really pure and amazing. So we're really excited about that. We're going to expand the makeup line. We are going to come up with a hair care line, and we're really, really excited. It's a dream come true for us because we've been self-funded all this time. And so to come in with these people with extraordinary experience and a solid team that wants to do things the right way, the way we do. There's so many times you find a partner or investors and they just want to get their money back. They don't really care about the process or the product. They just want to make money. And obviously our investors want to make money as well, but it's very important to them that we come up with a product that is extraordinary. So we are really looking forward to that.
I love that. I love CBD, a huge fan of it for a variety of reasons. I've used it to help, a variety of different things, from calming feelings of anxiety. Also I had a nodule kind of in my left breast that I would notice would come, closely around my menstrual cycle, which for some doctors is normal and whatever. I'm always kind of questioning what they say is normal and things like that. And so I used like a CBD salve topically on my breast with a little bit more meditation and just kind of some other stress relieving techniques. Found great relief in that. I've used skincare. I've used skincare with CBD before, which I loved. And so I love that you're talking about makeup and actual products that we use on our face, including more CBD and more of that product there, because there's so many benefits to it. And like you said, it's not even the component of the plant that can even get you high, even if you wanted to. So it's actually, there's so many great properties in CBD that really bring that homeostasis and that balance to our body. And I'm so excited about what you guys are doing with makeup there. That's super, super cool. And to have quality partners and people in your corner and investors that believe in the mission and believe in the dream and believe in you and your story and where you've come from to kind of preserve the integrity of the brand you created is not easy. And just listening to you talk about it and get lit up about it is super cool. And then also knowing, our journeys are tough, guys. It's not like you go from point A of like, I'm going to create a makeup line to boom, investors and everything is perfect. It's like there's a huge road.
I've had my company since 1999, and I was on a good flow. I had a publicist and we were doing great. And then Bo died. And then the beauty industry really changed. When we started, there were no influencers. There was no Facebook, Instagram. It was beauty editors, magazines, and celebrities and publicists. And really, that's all you dealt with. And now it's just totally different. And you have to, again, learn to ride the wave and go with the new flow of how things are different with the influencers and Instagram and the Facebook and Twitter. It's very different. But you have to, if you want to survive, you just have to go with it and enjoy the process. I truly enjoy what I do so much. I love being a makeup artist. I love running my company. I've told my children, figure out what you love doing so much that you would do it for free, and then figure out how to make a lot of money. And both my daughters have graduated from university. One, Melania, graduated from Central St. Martin's in London. She's a fashion designer. She started her own line called Ruja, which is extraordinary. And she's designing a new golf brand now of women's golf, like couture golf clothes, which I think is going to be amazing. And my daughter Rose went to NYU Film School. She graduated from Tisch and she's a screenwriter and has a business degree, and she's a writer in LA. And my son Nikolai is in college playing golf and getting a business degree. And Ben is a freshman in high school, and he's golfing competitively and doing well in school. So I think it was interesting. My daughter Rose had said to me not too long ago that my lectures on drugs and alcohol and everything else were totally a waste of time, but that my example of my work ethic and how I treated people and the way I lived my life were so much more impactful. And I didn't realize that your kids really watch everything you do and what you say. So it was interesting to hear her perspective on that. So thank God it was a good one.
Yeah, so great. And you're right. People, kids, of all ages, whether they're yours or not or whatever, is like they're watching and they're paying attention. And, it's great to be like, don't do drugs and don't stay out late and don't make bad decisions. But when you're living that, and I love what you said about, think about what you want to do that you would do anytime, with zero pay, but then of course, figure out how to make a living out of it. And one of the things that I often say too, because I think that, with kids, sometimes we're like, oh, what do you want to be when you grow up? And there's this pressure to like figure out like what hat you want to wear. And I oftentimes am like, okay, well, what do you want to feel when you go to work every day? And like you said, like that fun, that excitement, because it's like, you might not know exactly what that career is called at the moment. And as time changes, like you said, when you started, business was one thing. Now it's over here, and we have social media, we have influencers, we have Facebook ads, we have all these, different things like things change, and so what you maybe want to be because that thing that you thought you wanted to be elicits that feeling now, maybe in 10 years, there'll be something else or a new job created or a new position or new technology or a new way to make an impact that gives you that feeling. And so I think that is a feeling of like, I'd wake up every day and do this podcast and do my coaching and, help women get strong from the inside out and work with people on their core values. Like, I love doing that. I get so excited. I love conversation with people, but it's also great that you get to make a living from that and make money that that way. And so I think that when we find that, it's just such a great feeling, and no one can really ever take it away from you when you find that thing that like I always say, it's doing what sets your soul on fire. It's like you wake up just so excited. And so I love hearing you talk about your kids too, because it's very clear that, they got a lot of that from you and from watching you, start it and struggle and keep showing up and, doing it with, full out and enjoying that. And I think that's just, it's magic. We can tell kids what to do, what not to do, whatever, but the ultimate stamp on them is how we're showing up and how we are leading by example. So what would you say is a legacy or a feeling or something along that line that you want to be remembered for, that when your time on this earth is no longer, or like your business is done, maybe you've sold it and whatever, like what do you want to leave behind for your family, and then also people who may have never met you, but maybe get to experience your impact and your products and different organizations and stuff that you've put out there? What do you want them to feel?
I hope that I am remembered that I was full of love and did what I was so passionate about, and I left the world a better place than when I arrived.
Yep. So awesome. So great. Where can people find your products and connect with you, whether it's more on the kind of the foundational side of what you're working on or makeup stuff? How can we learn more and grow more with you?
Well, thank you. You can go to prettygirlmakeup.com, and I'm giving a 25% discount with the discount code PrettyGirl. And you can look, if you want to see my work as a makeup artist, you can go to ChristinaFlach.com. We're on Instagram, Pretty Girl Makeup, PrettyGirlMkup, and Christina Flach Makeup. We're on Twitter, Facebook. I hope everyone tries our products.
Thank you so much, Christina, and everything that you mentioned. I will put in the show notes links to everything, social media accounts and things like that. Thank you so much for being here and for being so open and vulnerable and honest and sharing your story. I just feel, I feel the love, I feel the passion, and I just feel like there's so much growth and amazingness that's coming your way very, very soon when it comes to all the expansion and stuff that you're doing. So I appreciate you, and you guys check out. I'm sorry?
Thank you for being so kind. There was something that I had heard not too long ago about post-traumatic shock when these things happen. But I spoke with this woman once, and she told me that going through something like this can be post-traumatic growth. And so that is something that I strive for.
Oh, I love that. PTG, post-traumatic growth.
Great. Isn't that neat?
Yeah. That's awesome. Thanks for sharing that. That hit for sure. That's a good, I haven't heard that one before, and that's really awesome. I hadn't heard it
either. Actually, this one was, I was getting interviewed by they have a radio show in LA, and they're two therapists. And she had said that to me, and I thought, wow, that is so cool.
Yeah.
So again, it's a choice how you want to handle these bumps.
Definitely. Definitely. And it's been, an honor listening and learning how you've chosen to use some of what's gone on in your life to make a bigger impact. So thank you so much. And
thank you so much.
Yeah, you too. And you guys connect with Christina, connect with Pretty Girl Makeup and everything that she's doing. I'll put all the links in the show notes, in the description, so that you can find everything super easy. And Christina, thank you again for being here.
Thank you, hon. Have a good day. Bye.
You too. Bye.
Thank you so much for listening to this episode of Self Love and Sweat, the podcast. Hey, do me a favor. Wherever you're listening to this podcast, give us a review. This really helps a lot. And share this with a friend. I'm only one person, and with your help, we can really spread the message of self-love and sweat and change more lives all around the world. I'm Lunden Souza, reminding you that you deserve a life full of passion, presence, and purpose, fueled by self-love and sweat. This podcast is a Hit Spot Austria production.